3 now of Strategy for Success. I'm really excited to carry on talking about your vision. So this is vision part 2. Yesterday we looked at your vision and your dreams, so on a more personal level, and getting that ready to be aligned with your business. So today we're going to be looking at your vision and your business. So we will get started. So today, like I say, we're going to apply your vision and dreams from yesterday and to your business to start to see how these all align and how your business can support you getting to where you want to get to and what you want to achieve. So yesterday was ultimately the what and the why, and today is the how. So hopefully that all makes sense, and you will feel more able to apply what we did yesterday to your business after today. So of course, again, there'll be homework as well following what we talk about today. So given that the dreams that you had yesterday and all those that we looked at, and we're going to look now as to how you can achieve them. So in order to do that, we're going to look at your goals from that to enable where we need to get to. So my cat is putting me off. She's scratching at the door to get out and it's absolutely pouring down. Sorry. Where are you now and where do you need to be? They are really key points to look at when we talk about your goals. You need to understand where you are now and where you need to get to. So we looked at dreaming big yesterday, and that's the more longer term. The shorter term is what your goals can be more realistic against right now, and to get to where you need to get to and step by step progress up those goals. So if, for example, your goal and your dreams coming up yesterday was to become a superstar director, then obviously you need to start looking at how you can achieve those goals. So in order to do that, you need to, sorry, it's the other one today. So in order to do that, we need to look at where you are now. So if you are a certified consultant, for example, or a lead consultant, you need to understand how you're going to get there with the compensation plan. So we were going to focus on the compensation plan a little bit more on day 6 when we're looking at team building, but it's just to have a bit of an awareness of where you are on that plan now to where you're going to be. So then it's a case of then looking at how long it's going to take. So if you're, say, certified consultant and your goal is the superstar director, look at how you've been performing in the last month to 3 months, depending on how long you've been in the business, and how quickly you've gone to where you've got to, the actions that you're putting in place, the time that you're putting into your business, the drive that you're putting in there as well. Because it will be different for everybody. So there's no good me sitting here saying your goal will be to hit superstar director within 6 months or a year or 2 years, because it will be completely varied based on you and where you are at the moment. Now, obviously, if you've looked at the last 3 months, for example, and you know that you haven't been putting the time in that you've now got, then obviously that's going to change. But you just need to use that as a scale. So if you compare to where you are and where you've been over the last 3 months, it will help you to focus on where you're going to go for the next 3 months. And obviously, hopefully, it will go a bit quicker, so there's no harm in aiming that goal a little bit higher. So let's just take as an example, you're going to hit superstar director within 2 years. You would then look beyond that. So you need to look at what you need in terms of your group volume. You need to look at what you would need in your team volume to get there, how many directors you need, how many frontline active people you need, how many in your team would make that achievable. You need to kind of look at all those areas. And when I talk about group volume and team volume, we will cover those a bit more going forward in the team building sections, as I say. I'll break those down a bit more for you, but it's just to have an understanding, a base of understanding of the things that you need to kind of look at. And obviously you need to look at your own PRV as well, because obviously to achieve any of the promotions you need a minimum of 500 PRV yourself. Okay, so in terms of looking at all that, you need to then set the next goal in between there of getting there. So you can have that goal, but it's to break it down and have a more achievable and relative task to get you there over the next few months to get you to that ultimate goal. So if you're a certified consultant right now, then it would be ideal to look at hitting lead and setting that as a goal for the next 2 to 3 months. Depending on where you've been in the last 3 months, looking back and assessing your time journey, your ability to put time and effort in, the ability to put the actions in, and then determine how long it's going to take you. So I would say if you're a certified consultant that's been achieving between active and 500 PRV consistently over those 3 months, then a 3-month turnaround to go from certified to lead is more than enough time for you to really work it and achieve it. If you've already got a frontline member in your team and you're already having those recruiting conversations and you're consistently getting between 500 and 1,000 PRV, then maybe you want to look at that goal being 2 months. But it's just independently looking at your own story and your own position of where you've been, and determine where it's reasonable and measurable and achievable to get to without stretching yourself too far. You do need to stretch yourself. Your goal should always be stretching. So don't overestimate it either, because you'll then get switched off, because you need something that's going to motivate you in a short period of time to get there. So based on that, and have a think about all of those offline around your goals. We've now talked about that, so we've now got your goals set. We're going to imagine that you've done all that work and you've got the vision, but how are you going to get there? So there's a few things to look at in terms of vision. So obviously there's a lot of activities and actions around customers and team building, but right now we're just looking at the vision side of it. So how are you going to do that and get there? So as we focus on the vision for your business, then it's really important that we connect with those areas around customers and team building. So the vision side of it has to be around that attraction marketing and getting magnetic content to the right audience, which is really key. And we cover off a lot of that in the customer. It obviously flows into the team as well, but I cover it more within the customer bracket. But the same will apply to the team in terms of attracting a team. So let's start at the beginning with your brand. This is really important, and I have done some training on branding, and I know I've worked with some of you already on branding as well, but it's really important just to take a step back, reflect on what you've already got, and just tweak it where needed or set it up if you don't already have it. So the basics of attraction marketing come from your hobbies and your interests and your likes and your values, and that's what we talked around yesterday, which is why I got you to think about your hobbies feed into your brand, because it is what makes you you, and your brand is you. So does your brand that you've currently got, does it reflect you? When you look at it, does it summarize you as a person? Does it speak to you on all levels? Does it make you instantly think of yourself? When you look at it, do you think it fits you? And do you think it is an attractive brand that allows people to see into you, see your personality, see what you're about and what your business is about as well? Because that is really key. So it's more than just your brand name though, it's everything. It's about the authenticity, it's about building trust, building relationships, building loyalty. It is all of those things combined that will make your brand. It is not just about your packaging, it's not just about your brand name, it's not just about having a logo, it is everything and all encompassing. So it is your authenticity, it is being genuine, it is crossing over on your hobbies and likes and therefore being you. It is about using the language that you use. It is about using words that strike a value with you, that make you have meaning and build the trust with the people that you're interacting with. It's a way of building rapport with people. Okay, so in addition to that, it's also around presentation. As I said, it is around everything. So it's presentation, it's the images that you use, it's the commitment to your business, it's the consistency towards your business, it's your values and it's your beliefs. And it all filters to align you to your audience, which is not always going to be the same audience. And this is a really key thing. If you try to appeal to everybody, you'll end up appealing to nobody. That's a really key statement. And it's probably one that not many of you have actually thought about in terms of your audience. And you have to be really specific. And we're going to talk more on that tomorrow, on identifying your audience in customer part 1. So we're going to talk really heavily on discovering your audience, because it is not everybody. And as odd as that might sound to some people, about not including everybody, because if you include everybody, you can't appeal to anybody, because it just doesn't work. What you say to one person won't work to another, and you have to find your target audience. So we'll talk about how that works and why that works tomorrow. But it's really important just to have that in the back of your mind while we're going through the rest as well. So while we're talking about brand and imagery, I just want to really go through images, because it's one of the key things that, with social media being what it is, it's really key to strike that vision for people. Get those attraction marketing tools working for you in terms of your images. And we will talk about words as well. And I think I go through that on day 4 or 5 around storytelling and being relatable and things like that. But I'm just wanting to cover in terms of the branding and the vision today is around your images. So you have about 2 seconds. It's as short as that. You have 2 seconds to pull someone out of their newsfeed scroll, for them to stop, to read your post, to look at your post, to open and actually click onto it so it opens it into the group or whatever else. You have about 2 seconds. Or if it's a notification that's come up and they do click it, then again you've got 2 seconds before they all not read it or not look at it, because they'll just think, oh yeah, no, and just leave it. You have 2 seconds to stop that. And that's really powerful. You need to put yourself in those shoes when you're thinking about what you're posting, the image and the words. But right now we're just focusing on the image. So your content is obviously really important, and that's why we need to focus on it. You need to focus on the image quality. You need to focus on what you're showing. And people want to see real images that you've taken. They want to see your personality in those images. They want to see things looking amazing. They want to see the products change and add value to them, that they solve a problem, that the content has got to be right. And there's a whole host of information around content marketing, on magnetic content, on images that pull you right in. But I'm just going to talk around today around my imagery. My images get a lot of attention, not just from customers, but from consultants as well. And I'm often asked how I get my images looking the way that I do, what I focus on, how I get there. So I just wanted to run through some tips that you can use to make your images pop even more. You've got to make that content pop. It's really got to grab someone and pull them in. So here are some of the top tips. So you must have bright, light, clear space, 100%. If you need to, when you're taking a photo, think of the background. You need to look at what's behind it, what else is in that photo. It is really, really key that your image is all about the product. If there's loads going on in the background, if it's really distracting, if it's really dark, if it's messy, it's not going to make someone stop and look, and it's certainly not going to draw someone in and thinking about your business and you and it being in a positive light. So it's really important to have clear, modern, bright backgrounds with no clutter, no mess. And even if your house is really busy, if it's got loads of clutter because you've got children and you've got stuff everywhere, that's fine. That, just make a tiny space in your house where there is some good light near a window, that's got a clear and fresh approach. So it's just plain background wise. There's nothing cluttering or messy in the background with that picture, and focus there. Just make sure you make that little space. Make it as best as you can and find the brightest, lightest area of your house that will give you the best setting for your photograph. And if it's raining outside and it's dark indoors, make sure you put an extra light on, but try and do it when the lighting is best. And I know that's frustrating because sometimes you just want to take a picture of something, or it's an order that's not going to be there for long, so you just have to make the best of it at that point. So make the lighting as strong as you can. Put on extra lights, get an extra lamp from a different room and put that in front of it so it's producing light onto the item. Just get it as light as you can. Get a selfie ring as well. You can attach, I've got one that you can just clip on, you just pinch it, and it just clips onto your phone. So you can do it either way, just make sure it's not in the way of the camera, obviously, if it's on the front or the back. Tommy, sorry. Oh, it's the other one now. So for example, you can just do this, and you can just turn it on, and it automatically gives some light. So you can see the different ones. There's warm, cold, obviously off, but it just instantly, so if I put that in front of the laptop, it just gives a little bit more light. It's a bit further away from me, so it's not having as much effect, but there. You can just see that it gives more light. And this was like £6 on Amazon. But you can just clip it onto the front, and when you're doing a selfie, you can clip it to the back, and again, just make sure it's not in the way of the camera lens, and then you can take a picture forward with it, and it will just light up a bit more. Things like that make a real difference to your photography. So that's one area. The other is editing the settings. So the lighting won't always be great. Even when the lighting is good, you can still tweak around and find settings that you think make your image even better. I use, every photo I take, I use Adobe Lightroom. It's a free app, and I only use the free elements of it. There are some extra add-ons that you can use, but I don't use those. I just use the free stuff, and you can play with the settings in there, with the lighting, with adding some filters on as well. I use the lighting, and I use one filter. You can also buy preset lightings on Etsy for a couple of pounds, and it just adds it to your app. I'm just going to find an example. So I need to find an original image. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so this is an original image that's not been filtered at all when it loads. And I will just quickly show you it before my phone battery dies. If it's going to load, which it's not. I'll come back to that in a second. But you can fiddle around with the settings in there and make a real difference to a photo very quickly. It's not going to work. Of all the times that my app is not working. There we go. Right, okay, so this is the original image. There's no filter on this, you can't see it very well, but there's no filter lighting setting on that photo. So when you're in the app, you just scroll to the beginning where light is. I don't know if you can see that. And then it puts up a grid. And then there is a curve button here. This is the lighting curve. And this affects the way the lighting sits on an image. If you then drag up, in photography, you use an S curve. But at the moment, I've been mainly just raising the top part of the curve and not bringing the bottom down, because you can then bring the darker settings in. So I just lift that slightly, and then I go to profiles, and I normally use number 2 because it's my favourite. But there's loads of different ones there. You can't see it very well. It helps if I go the right way. But it just gives you an idea. And it just lights up the settings. It just changed it slightly. And then I have got a lighting preset. So if I go into presets, so once you've added one in, it's just at the bottom in presets, and then you can just add it. It's not going to show you very well, but it just lights it up. So I'll put the 2 images in the comments afterwards, and you can see the difference between the photo. Bearing in mind, I use profile setting on my phone camera, so it does automatically focus on the foreground and give depth of field so that the background is slightly blurred out, so make the focus the point that I want. Not all cameras obviously do that. If you've got a professional camera, you can do depth of field. If you've got one of the latest iPhones, I think it's 8 and upwards, then you'll have those kind of portrait settings. But they really do make a difference. If you've got the ability to do that, then use that as well, because it just brightens up the image to start with. And then that way the original image is already slightly lighter. And then when you work with it, it's less of a difference that you're bringing in. So it won't distort the quality of the image. Obviously, if you're looking at a really dark image and you're putting a lot of light in the settings, it will distort the image. So just use your judgment about how much and how little you can work with an image. It's really key that you just play with it and just get it to the quality that's great, with the lighting settings being on there as best as they can be. Another point is angles. I use and make sure that all my angles of my photography is correct. So when I'm doing a selfie, For example, it's up and tilted forward. So the phone isn't straight, it's tilted forward and it's just slightly above my head. So it's not higher than my head, but it's just slightly. So the camera level is kind of like coming down to here. It will just give you the best angle, and it's the same for products, getting the right angle. If you have it straight on, you're not going to get sort of the wax dish with the wax in the top properly. You don't want it too far up that you're then not seeing the side of the thing. It's just using your judgment and getting that image to the right level. So I tend to take my images at an angle again. It's never flat, it's always slightly at an angle, and just getting that camera to get the better image that you can out of it. And add your logo or watermark. It's really key. There's no harm in sharing images, and obviously I encourage putting them in the team group and stuff. But when you're uploading them to your Facebook group profile, always add your website and add your logo. If you've got a transparent logo or something you can put on there, there's loads of free apps that you can use to make this happen. I use Photofy. I do pay a subscription for Photofy because I use that all the time and it's worth the subscription to me, and I use all the features of it, and I pay for it to be linked to Scentsy. That's what I'm paying for. But Photofy is an editing app. I'm pretty sure it's free. It's just to have that Scentsy side of it in there, where there's Scentsy images in there, the workstation images come into it, so it's all there ready for you to use. But it's just a great way of adding your website. The text on there is better than Facebook Edit. You can use that and add your website in there, or your brand name, or just your name in there, and you can just use different colours to make it fit your brand. But the best way of doing it is using an app like that, where you can make it a watermark by just reducing the opaqueness of the colour, etc. There's loads of different text options in there as well, so it can make it fit with your brand, and it just means you can fiddle around with it really easily. So other things to consider, which I'm really pleased, as I've seen so many from one of our challenges recently, is lots of you have been putting yourself in the photo with the products. That is an amazing way to brand your business, to make it personal, to build that trust, that authenticity, that loyalty, that getting to know you. And when you're thinking about attraction marketing, there's 3 words that are really key. Is know, trust, and do. Is that right? I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember. I'm sure it's right. Know, trust, and do. But it is absolutely key. Just trying to find where I wrote it because I'm sure I wrote that somewhere. But yeah, it is about getting to know you, about trusting you, and then it's about action following that. You want people to have actions coming out of what you do. So, sure it is though. Know, trust, and do. Know, trust, and like. Know, trust, and like. It's about getting to know you. It's about trusting you, building that loyalty, building that authenticity, and then liking you and being attracted to you. So that's kind of around all the imagery side of it, but also going live is another way of building your brand, of being authentic, of being you, showing them who you are, who the face is behind it, the voice, the words, and just being more authentic. I know people struggle with going live. I know that people find it really difficult. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Before I started Scentsy, I would never have gone live. The only time I went live before that was when I wasn't on the camera and Annabelle was doing something in my previous business for me. My first live for my business was Annabelle changing the wax, and she killed it. She was so confident. She changed the wax, she told everybody why and how and everything else, and the interaction I had on that live was incredible. Julia is an amazing live queen on our group, and she was the first in our team to go live. She came in and she did them straight away with pure confidence, pure bubbliness, and she had and still has amazing success. And lives really make a difference, really make a difference. So I then bit the bullet and started doing them. And the first one was scary, but nothing bad happened. It was fine, I was fine. It went well, it had good interaction, and it just builds from there. And then as soon as I started doing them over and over again, I don't even give them a thought now. I just turn the camera on and just go. It's the same, obviously I do a lot of lives in the team and the training and things like that, so that's helped me get used to it as well. But it's just a case of just go 1, 2, 3 and do it, because otherwise you'll just switch yourself off and say you can't do it. So you've got to believe that you can do it, for starters, and part of that positivity thinking and throwing away those negatives and stuff is about just getting on and doing your live. It is not as bad as you think, but by all means do your first live where it is just you showing the products or showing how to change wax and you're not even in the camera, you're not in front of it. Be behind the scenes, let them hear your voice, let them hear what you have to say about the products. That is an amazing way to start doing it and build your confidence until eventually you can turn around and have that camera on you and with confidence talk about the products and share that product knowledge that I know you all have. And judging by the activity we did before this kicked off, most of you have really good product knowledge. You all believe that's one of your strengths, so go with it. Go and tell the world why you love something, why you want to show them. Be excited, be passionate, and use that to just power through it. You can do it, and it will be amazing for your business. But keep the excitement up, keep a big smiling face on. Don't look scared and don't worry about it, just have fun with it. At the time of you doing it, there might not even be anyone around, so you don't even have to worry. But you're not going to know, you can't see them. All you need to focus on is what you're talking about and what you're showing them. That is it for today. I hope that's given you lots to think around around branding, imagery, and getting the images the best you can. Starting to think about attraction marketing in terms of images here, but we'll go on further in the rest of the course. It's about thinking around your entire brand, and it has to go through everything, like I say. So your homework for today obviously will be to watch the live, but obviously if you're watching this, then you've already watched it, and feedback. And then looking at your brand, does it reflect you? Does it reflect your hobbies, your likes, your values? Does it speak to you when you look at it? If it doesn't, just readjust. Or if you haven't set up a brand yet and it's just your Facebook group is your brand and it's just called your name and Internet Sensor Consultant, for example, then that's absolutely fine. But just have a think about what you want to do next and how you want your brand to start looking. And I'm more than happy to talk to you guys about it. If you've got some ideas, then just let me know and we can work through it. But it has to be you. So it has to be coming from you. I can give you a few tips and pointers and stuff, but it is ultimately you. So it has to come from your thing. I will just quickly show you mine actually as well. So this is my brand. This is what my Facebook cover that I made is. It's what's on the header of my emails when they go out, when I'm following up and when I'm sending newsletters out. This is my business card that's just arrived because I've just updated them to match as well. My catalogue images are the same, so it's got that whole similar approach. I do need to update the images on the bottom, but they're still relevant products, so it's fine. Got away with that one. I've just got hundreds of the labels that I printed out, so I want to use them up. But again, it's got the same colouring on there, it's got the same feel of it, and then on the back is just my details in the same colour to match. So it's got on there my name, my title, my telephone number, my website, my email, and my Facebook/Instagram pages, because the name of my Instagram page is in terms of the @ so the tag for it, so people can find it, is the same for both. So I don't need to put two on, so I've just got the logo on each side. So you can just about see, the fingers there. So I've got my Facebook logo one side, Instagram logo the other, of the side, or either side of the name of my Facebook page and stuff. So that's my brand, to give you an idea. And obviously on there I talk about being brave, being kind, being you, and let your light shine, because they are the values that I love. And my brand is Inspire Scented Happiness, because that's what I want to get from the scentedness. I want people to enjoy it. I want them to find happiness with it, whether that's as a customer or whether that's as a team member. So that is around branding. Then I want you to re-look at your Facebook profile. So I asked you to share your Facebook profiles the other day, that first screenshot. I want to know that you are a Scentsy consultant, that there is that I can shop from you and that I can join you. But I don't want you to use the word join me. I don't want you to have a website link there. It's got to be innovative and different. So I will again share mine. You can also go to my profile and look at my profile, but you will see on my profile picture there is a discrete branding across the bottom of my photo, which is a Facebook frame that you can use. You can create your own, or you can use ones that are already there. If you just type in Scentsy, loads will come up. Mine is my own brand name one, using a wax bar image, like outline image. And then underneath has got my bio. You've only got, I think it's 100 words. Or 110 words, something like that, and you've got to fit it in there. So it's got to be really succinct, and it's got to be you, but still talking about Scentsy. And then underneath it will say that I'm an independent Scentsy consultant at job, because that's normally in the first sort of snippet that you can see in your profile. I shouldn't be able to have to scroll to see that you are what you are and what you do with Scentsy and what your loves are. It should be really clear on that first screenshot. So even if you know that you've got some Scentsy there, just go back and relook, just see what else you can do to tweak it to make it work for you. Your Facebook profile is also your business profile. It has to align, because it has to be so authentic and so genuine that you love Scentsy, that it comes across all avenues. So do that, and then screenshot it again once you've done that, and then pop it up into the homework post. And then also show us some new attractive imaging that you use based on the training that you've done today. So with a new look on how to edit your images and take images in the best light, go off, take a couple of images, and then in your homework post, pop those up there so I can see where you've looked at changing the way you do your images currently and getting the best shots that you can to draw people in. So it's got to be about focusing on grabbing attention. That's your focus for those images. And obviously add in your brand logo as well. So perfect. I hope today has been a really good one for you, giving you lots to think about and to action. So I will leave you there because you've got a few tasks to do, and I will speak to you all soon. Thank you very much. Take care.